Well, hey guys! So today I'm going to do a little mommy video. I feel like it's been a long time since I've done a mommy video, but I've been having so much fun with my channel. I hope you guys have been enjoying it too. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about this guy and his little nap schedule. Ollie, do you take really good naps? Yeah. Oh. Right, just sitting in his crib, playing with his toys and being adorable. Try and pay attention to me. I know it's hard though. I don't blame you. Yeah, you don't blame him. First off, I wanted to talk about kind of the importance of the nap schedule, why it was important for me, important for Oliver. I feel like every child is different, and some parents can just not have a schedule and not make their child nap. But I quickly realized that with Oliver, he needs a nap. He gets grouchy and he gets upset and he needs to sleep. Once I figured out that a schedule was needed, I figured out I need to figure out how to get him to nap. Obviously, the importance of the nap schedule is one, to keep him in a good mood, keep him happy, but also it actually gives me a little bit of a break, and it keeps me from going absolutely crazy, from chasing around a kid the entire day, to give me a couple hours of a break, and then I would have a couple hours to play with them, and then a couple hours of a break. It's really nice for mom, and it is really nice for baby as well. I did come into quite a few struggles. I tried not to, stress about having a nap schedule, but at the same time, we were just always like running and going places, and he would fall asleep in the car, and maybe he'd only sleep for 15-30 minutes, but at that point, he was like wide awake and like, oh, I'm not gonna go take a nap. And so it was becoming a problem because, it was becoming a problem because he would sleep in the car, and sure, he would feel refreshed, and then maybe an hour later, he'd be freaking out, just absolutely like so grouchy, so upset, and just wasn't happy. So the amount when he was awake, he might not go to sleep, but then he was grouchy. So it was becoming that struggle. Also, because we didn't really have a schedule and he was taking these little cat naps, he got used to the cat naps. And so when I would go to lay him into his crib and say, okay, it's nap time, he would only sleep for maybe 15-30 minutes and be like, okay, I'm up, because his body was just so used to little cat naps. So in order to fix the whole problem was, number one, I really had to schedule my life. I had to actually say, okay, I can't go somewhere during this time. He needs to take a nap. So that was important. Once me and Brian wrapped our head around the idea of just not being free and doing whatever we wanted, we decided we need to schedule our life. We need to only go out during the times that we can. And of course, we are still very flexible with that. There are times where I stretch his nap, maybe an extra hour later or an hour and a half later. Sometimes he might miss his third nap or his second nap, and that's okay. We don't want to be extremely strict about it. But we know that if we do miss it, we might be dealing with a little bit of a grouchy baby, and that's not always fun. So what I had to do is, I didn't actually do like the cry it out method. I just really couldn't handle it. It was really hard for me to kind of just sit there and watch him cry. Even more importantly, he really couldn't handle it. He would cry, and maybe I'd let him cry, let's just say 5 minutes, and I'd come in here and I'd calm him down. He would have those hiccups for, even after crying a couple minutes, and then he couldn't go to sleep because he'd be like, and it would wake him up every time he'd try and fall asleep. So I quickly figured out, really, the cry out method wasn't gonna work for me, but it really wasn't gonna work for him either, because he doesn't do well if he has to cry. If I wanted him to sleep for an hour and a half to 2 hours, which I felt like that was, a good amount of time for him sleeping, if he woke up 30 minutes, I would come in here and I would just rock him and shush him, and I don't talk, I don't turn on any lights, I just come in here and I rock him back and forth until he falls back to sleep. And sometimes that would take me 30-45 minutes, but he really wouldn't leave the room until he had been in his room or napping for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I think it kind of retrained his body to know that even if I wake up, mom's gonna put me back to sleep. And so after, a while, it took us maybe a couple weeks of just coming back in here, rocking him back to sleep, and actually soon it became, maybe instead of rocking him for 30 minutes, it would be like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and sometimes even now I have to come in here, I do have to rock him back to sleep, and maybe it only takes a couple minutes, but he knows he has to basically stay asleep until it's been at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. When I get those 2 hours, it's awesome, but I would say he usually sleeps about an hour and a half, which is still great. When he does sleep an hour and a half, he gets about 2.5 hours of energy, and then he's ready for his next nap, As you can see, he actually just woke up from his nap, so he's quite happy. Another question I actually get for his nap schedule is, what is your schedule? How does it work? When does he wake? When does he sleep? So I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out right here. Okay, so he usually wakes up about 7:30 and he eats breakfast, he's awake for a couple hours, and then he actually goes down for his first nap at 9:30. Usually wakes up then around 11 o'clock. He eats lunch, he plays, and then he's ready for his second nap at 1 o'clock. So we usually nurse, go to sleep, and then he sleeps for an hour and a half. At 2:30, he wakes up, he plays for a couple hours, and hopefully I can get him down for another nap at around 4:30. That one's usually pretty tough. You don't like that third nap, huh? No. And then he'll usually sleep for hopefully an hour and a half, wake up around 6, he plays, huh? And then at 7:30, we usually eat dinner, just start getting ready for bed, and then he will usually take a bath, and then we come back in here and he goes to bed. He'll usually be asleep by 8:30. So it was really important also that when we come in here to take a nap, I kind of keep the same routine. So I usually come in, I turn off all the lights, I turn the fan on, I'll turn on the white noise, and then we sit down and we rock and we nurse. He always eats and falls asleep nursing a nap. And then we also have bedtime where we read a book and we do the same kind of thing, nursing, stuff like that. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this nap schedule video, and I hope it kind of helped you out if you're trying to figure out whether you need a nap schedule or how to make a nap schedule. Let me know if you have any questions, leave that in the comments. Thumbs up for Oliver, because he was actually pretty stinking adorable through this whole video, and so helpful, huh? Hi. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Oliver, can you say bye? Bye! Can you wave? No. Bye guys! The meaning is just simply that there's bumps along the way. You can have a bump on your belly, and you know, you could be going through life trying to get somewhere, and there's always gonna be bumps along the way. Last book you read is The Hunger Games. I finished The Hunger Games last year and I love them. Haven't read a book since though. Last show you watched.